Hi, I'm Lin.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lin and Leo.
And welcome to our pose directory, and today we're going to be adding Ustrasana.
So Ustrasana, camel pose, it's a backbending action and many students find it quite a difficult pose to do and will avoid it in their own practice if they can. But it's a very helpful pose, it's a very useful pose for the immune system, for opening the chest up, for just a general spinal massage, really.
Yes, definitely. And those of you who are familiar and you're not being introduced to Ustrasana for the first time today, if you're familiar with the pose and you find that it pinches your back, this is what we'd like to teach today, just another way of practicing which may help that.
Absolutely. So the equipment that you might need, fold your mat into 4. You can see I've got that here. A bolster, a couple of bricks and a belt.
Okay, so what we're going to do, those of you who are not familiar with Ustrasana, we're just going to show you the pose. So Leo's going to come into kneeling position. Now, in the classic pose, the legs are together, but we usually teach it with the legs apart. It gives a little bit more breadth and broadness in the lower back region. And as you go back, you've got to get that tremendous extension through the chest and coming back and taking hold of the heels. So you can see here that Leo's going back. She's taking it a little bit slowly so that actually she can ground down with the shins and get the lift through the thighs and then take the hands onto the heels. And this is really the shape of Ustrasana. So we're going to come out of this now and just go through a little bit more teaching of it. So what's really important about Ustrasana is to understand the base of the pose, where the feet are positioned, how the shins move down, and if there's a tightness between the lower leg and the foot itself, so the very front of the ankle, then this will need to be worked on. And you can work on this area in several ways, but you have to see that there's length that comes. So you have to keep practicing that length, pulling the foot away from the lower leg and really grounding down, because this is where we need to be. And another area is when we get that stability, we've got to be sure that we're lifting up with the thighs. Now, where a lot of people find that there are problems and difficulties when the lower back becomes a little bit unstable, pushing the thighs forward, that action. Now you can see this whole area will shorten, so we've got to pause on that. We don't want to leave Leo in that kind of pose. So what we're going to do is to place, I just can't do this back. I need to mention it earlier. Well, we didn't get around to it. Okay, so just need to untie that. And then to take a brick between the inner thighs. So Leo's going to pop that there. Now, this may seem a little bit odd, but it's a really nice way of working, and it will help you to work the thighs and stabilise the thighs a little bit more. Now, if you're a little bit stiff or a bit wonky of the hips, which most of us are, then this will be a really good correction. You may not be able to go as far as you normally do because actually you're not thrusting those thighs forward and then just going back. So this is really quite a nice action. It's already probably feeling quite steady and quite secure. So yeah, a little bit tight if you need it. So now what we have to do is to see that these frontal hip bones here come forward, but the thighs stay perpendicular. So you have to see that you lift up and you really expose these frontal hips and then lift up and open the chest and find that action. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit more difficult for Leo to make that curvature. So she's got to take her time with this and she's got to keep lifting up. Keep on lifting, keep these frontal hip bones moving forward, but not the thighs. The thighs have got to stay really stable. So we're working in this way, working in this way. I've got my hands here to be sure. Go and see that you push into these palms and lengthen up through the spine even more. And then you may be able to get the hands onto. Yeah, now it's changed it all completely. Now, keep this action, keep moving those frontal hip bones, but keep those thighs from, yes. So you go back, that's it. Okay, and then release in. So that's all well and good if you can reach back onto your heels. You can see there that it was quite a struggle to get into that action because there was no dropping involved. So this will take away a little bit of your flexibility. So that may not be so nice for you. But just practice in this way, and if it's really a challenge, then extend. Because what we don't want to do is to shorten the back. Now, I will give you a demonstration here where you can really relate to this. If we come forward in a forward bend, and we bend from our spine, for instance, if I come into a forward bend, lift it up through the centre of the body, and then I come forward, I'm actually closing my back. And the same way here, if you don't get that lift, you are creating a similar thing, but obviously in a different direction. So Leo is keeping stable with those legs, trying not to push them forward. What has to happen is this area needs to come really long, and these hip bones need to be exposed. They have to be exposed. It's really challenging. So you see this beautiful opening in the body, and that will just continue to open if you practice well and you practice with integrity and symmetry and awareness. And then taking the hands back onto the bolster. And keep that action of lift, and as you can see here, if you're not practicing and just listening to the video, then just push so much into my palms, that's it, and lift up, that's it. Now you've got it. Feel the difference? Yeah, and now she's going a bit further. Okay, and then releasing my hands on Leo. We're not really pushing her. She had to do the work. It was just touching. So really important that you know, that actually, although that was hands-on, it was just a very soft indicator. Now, we've got the bolster here at the back, so that actually we can really emphasize the opening, and then we have to see if we can get that opening without the props, of course. But this is a really nice way, it really opens that lower back, doesn't it? It's a really nice way of working.
Yes.
Now you can work like this, and then you can sort of test the method and come off of the supports. So we take the high dose of props out, and we go for a lower dose of prop. So once we get that familiarity and action in the back body, it's really a nice way of working. So if you do need the bolster still, have the bolster, that's no problem, it's not a crime. We want to have the effects of the process rather than the pose, so don't get hung up on the pose. It really is all about how the body is transforming as we are going through that process. Is so important. Now, Leo's in her back bend already. I can see she's really feeling the back bend, and it's coming nicely. I'm just going to put these beside Leo so that she can put her hands onto them. So this again will stop you going all the way down into the pose and trying to get that lift. So down with the shins, remember what I was saying about the front of the foot, lift up through the centre of the body. Now, you've got to go really for it here. You've got to get this lift. You don't go for the back bend, you go for the extension. You don't go for the back bend, you've got to extend. These legs have got to be perpendicular, but these frontal hips, yeah, they have to come forward if you're going to go back. So much, they have to open the skin, the muscle fibre, the fascia, all that's got to really open so much. Then taking your hands down onto the bricks. Yes, and go up again. That's it. Okay, so this is a really nice practice. Now, maybe from here you go to the feet, but I'd like really another go at it. So we're going to come up, and we're going to come one more time. So this is just fueling the body with some energy. Okay, so we're going to prepare you really, because we've got Ustrasana coming into one of our routines very shortly, so this is really about preparation. So we're not going to use anything again. So we just see how different it feels with that understanding and awareness. Sometimes we have to use these props because we have to have a dose of awareness and going into the body and understanding the pose. So now we already start to connect with the brick, with the bout, and get that lift and really express the body. You see that Leo is opening her body so much, keeping that action, keeping perpendicular, and then completely getting that action in the frontal pelvic rims. So they've got to come forward. That's it. That's it. So, and then taking those hands back. That's it. So, so all this has got to move forward, and then, It's just a very different pose for Leo now, and I'm sure she agrees with me that it's changed massively. So, and when you're in it, you need to be in it in that position in terms of that length rather than folding into it. Remember the demonstration, it's like folding your back in the wrong position in the forward bend. You don't want to fold your back in the wrong position in the back bend. Okay, and then Leo's going to come up. Slowly. Such a strong action. And then releasing.
Yes, so some of you might find Ustrasana quite challenging, invigorating.
Yes.
It is an invigorating pose. It is, it does produce a lot of energy in the body. And if it's not, the classic action isn't coming for you just yet, then continue to use your bricks, continue to use your bolster, and get those alignment points that Lin was saying about the thighs and the pelvis, because that will then give you a pose that's very therapeutic and won't hurt your back.
And that's the really important thing, is be aware of the safety, because as soon as you feel those niggles, you have a really negative attitude towards the pose. You just don't want to practice it.
Quite. So, we hope you enjoyed the video with us today. If you did enjoy it, then please do click on the like button. If you haven't already subscribed and you want to get notifications of our videos, then click on the subscribe button and click on allow notifications when that comes through. So if you have any comments, do leave them and we will try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.